Next on my list is Ted Haggard. Pastor Ted is an evangelical pastor who founded the New Life Church in Colorado Springs, Colorado. An evangelical pastor provides information and counseling about a particular doctrine or set of beliefs to others with the intention of converting them to the Christian faith. In 1972, at age 16, Haggard became a born-again Christian after listening to Bill Bright and reading C.S. Lewis. God called to him after his first year in college and received confirmations from a Sunday school teacher, a pastor, a friend, and his father, J.M. Haggard, a veterinarian who founded an international charismatic ministry. Charismatics believe in baptism of the Holy Spirit, which bestows 9 distinguishing features: word of wisdom, word of knowledge, faith, gifts of healing, miraculous powers, prophecy, distinguishing between spirits, speaking in different tongues, and interpretation of tongues. Ted graduated from Oral Roberts University in 1978, became an associate pastor in Baton Rouge, then moved to Colorado Springs in 1984 to found his New Life Church. For 22 years, Pastor Ted ministered to his congregation in unconventional ways, including financial blessings of money to needy people, until his popularity had swelled his congregation to 14,000. Behind his wealth and fame, Pastor Ted was hiding a dirty little secret which leaked out in 2006 after Ted politically supported Colorado Amendment 43 that would ban same-sex gay marriage in that state. Mike Jones, an escort and masseur, alleged that one of his clients, unknown to him at the time, was Pastor Ted, who was engaging in sex and taking methamphetamines. Initially, Haggard denied the allegations, but eventually admitted to almost all of the allegations against him and resigned his leadership in all religious organizations he was associated with. Haggard ended counseling for a thorough analysis of his mental, spiritual, emotional life, including the use of polygraphs. By February 2008, Ted had had enough of counseling, even though his counselors had not had enough of him, and received a severance package from the church he founded. In June 2008, Ted admitted masturbating with Jones and taking drugs, and in November he said his actions had roots in sexual abuse by an adult when he was 7 years old. Over the years, Ted repented of his sins and gradually reconnected with his former congregation until he again became pastor of a functioning church. He began to support gay marriage and global warming issues while mending his shaky marriage. In 2011, Pastor Ted stated in an interview with CQ magazine that, "If I were 21 in this society, I would identify myself as a bisexual." Ted Haggard's net worth is around $200,000. Next on the list is James Dobson. A born-again Christian from the age of 3, James Dobson became an evangelical Christian author, psychologist, and founder of Focus on the Family. Dobson is not an ordained minister, but he became a highly influential evangelical leader. Dobson's father, James Dobson Sr., never attended college. Instead, he was a traveling evangelist preaching the Nazarene Bible in the Southwest, which young Dobson learned as he grew up. Unlike his father, the younger Dobson attended college and earned a doctorate in psychology in 1967. For 14 years, he served at the Keck School of Medicine and later as an assistant at a marriage counseling center in Los Angeles. In 1970, Dobson published Dare to Discipline book, in which he encouraged parents to use corporal punishment in disciplining their children. Corporal punishment is action undertaken to cause physical pain to correct bad behavior. Dobson provided detailed instructions on how much and how long to inflict pain, including situations when parents should practice restraint. Throughout his career, Dobson has emphasized a committed monogamous heterosexual marriage between one man and one woman as the best model for raising children and promoting a stable society. He believes that parents are ultimately responsible for their children's education and opposes sex education that is not abstinence only. Dobson wants student-led prayer in public tax-supported schools and sees no conflict with the First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. In Dobson's view, neither man nor nature is the definer of marriage and sexuality, only the Christian God founded in the Nazarene Bible, his Bible. In response to Obama's election, Dobson published a letter in which he warned out-of-control homosexuality, pornography, terrorist attacks, nuclear bombing of Tel Aviv, Russian conquest of Europe, mass abortions, economic disaster, and ultra-liberal judges appointed to the Supreme Court. Dobson promotes intelligent design, criticizes evolution, and global warming. In November 2009, Dobson signed the Manhattan Declaration, calling on Christians and Catholics not to obey laws permitting abortion, same-sex marriage, and other matters that go against their religious conscience. In 2010, Dobson had a falling out with his board of directors over a Super Bowl commercial that was soft on anti-abortion and began an independent radio program with his son Ryan called Family Talk, which helps families grow closer to the Dobson God. Like his father, James Sr., and his son Ryan, James Dobson thinks his opinions are instructions from the creator of the universe instead of from Hebrew writing from the Bronze Age. When will the creator of the universe make a public appearance and confirm Dobson's authority? When will Dobson actually read the Bible from cover to cover and see the contradictions, the bloody violence, mass drownings, plagues, and betrayals carried out by an invisible psychopath who claims to love you and want a relationship with you? If Dobson's imaginary God ever decided to make a public appearance on one of his good days, it would be a wonderful thing. I would immediately recognize Dobson as a true spokesperson for truth. And now we get to Ken Hovind, dinosaur man and tax dodger. Evangelist, Christian theme park operator, and tax dodger Ken Ham spends his days trying to convince people that scientific theories in evolution, geophysics, and cosmology are wrong, and that the invisible magic man in the sky did it is right. Ken Hovind, the creator of Dinosaur Adventureland theme park, and Ken Ham, the brain behind the Ark Encounter theme park, are both creationists who believe that Genesis and the flood really happened. All they had to do was build theme parks with fake dinosaurs and a scale model boat to convince an uncertain public caught between religious fundamentalism and godless atheism that faith was right and evidence based upon actual research was wrong. At the age of 16, Hovind became a, wait for it, born-again Christian with a fundamentalist Baptist flavor. From 1973 to 1989, he married, had 3 children, became a pastor and teacher, and moved to Pensacola, Florida. In 1989, Ken started creation science evangelism, which argued that creationism based on make-believe science was science based on evidence. A federal court case had already found that creationism wasn't science, but Ken's Dr. Dino website produced articles, sold videotapes, books, and fossil replicas, proving that it was. The Dr. Dino website lists Hovind's degrees from unaccredited Bible institutions, meaning they are not peer-reviewed by commissions and member institutions. Furthermore, Hovind has no training in paleontology, which is the study of fossil remains. In 2001, Hovind began Dinosaur Adventureland on 7 acres of his backyard. The park was designed to show where dinosaurs and the Bible meet. The simple dinosaur rides were designed to attract children and expose them to religious messages while they were playing and having fun. Ken's Dinosaur Park depicted humans and dinosaurs coexisting during the 6,000 years the Earth existed, along with the Loch Ness Monster, which incidentally was debunked years ago as a prank. The park also claimed that a few small dinosaurs still roam the Earth. Annual attendance was 38,000, and the proceeds from the park and the website went untaxed. Hovind had around 700 speaking engagements at churches, private schools, and online as a radio talk show host. In 2004, the IRS investigated Hovind and discovered he did not have a business license to sell his products online, and did not have a building permit and did not have tax-exempt status. In 2006, Hovind was convicted of 58 felony counts and sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. The IRS confiscated the park in 2009 and the website was shut down. In 2016, Hovind was back from prison and ready for another round of Dinosaur Adventureland, this time in Alabama. It's hard to tell whether Ken Ham and Ken Hovind are men with limited mental capacity coupled with a strong will, or just con men who know how to frustrate scientists with irrational arguments and exploit people who will believe almost anything. In summary, all Christian apologists share one thing in common. They do not believe in the first law of thermodynamics, which says that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only change from one form into another. In other words, something cannot come from nothing. Therefore, there must be a creator, and this creator is the Christian God character in the Bible. What's missing here is the nuances behind this observation. If our planet is a mass of bound energy, as science claims, then everything we observe is a form of this energy. We can see clouds begin to form in a clear sky. We can see spinning dynamos at Niagara Falls collecting electricity from the air and sending it to our homes. We live in an energy field which forms us and dissolves us. The notion of a creator God separate from his creations is driven by the limits of human perception, which cannot directly see this energy coming into form. Instead, we only see form. Instead of admitting they don't know if there is a creator God or not, Christian apologists play the faith card. Faith is complete trust in something or someone with no evidence to back it up. By combining a talent for public speaking and a flair for showmanship, founders of new religions become wealthy and influential by convincing gullible people that they have an exclusive connection to an imaginary God. The worst of these characters, such as Falwell and Robertson, have tried to use their wealth and influence with voters to place their religious claims above man-made laws, which lead to the repeated game of violence and hatred among competing religious factions. For the average person of faith, the Bible is a book that is easy to understand compared to science. Science is a collection of cold, empty facts and theories. Science does not fulfill emotional needs and love the way God does. Science is the enemy of God. A real Christian defends God against the godless scientists.